So imagine this. You're about to receive a payment, $5,000. You're excited, already planning what to do with it, shopping, bills, maybe some savings. But the moment the money hits your account, something feels off. You check again, and suddenly you realize the dollar has collapsed. And now, that $5,000 is worth almost nothing. Same number, but completely different value. You can't pay rent, you can't buy groceries, and just like that, the entire system starts falling apart. So what actually happens if the US dollar collapses? The US dollar isn't just America's currency, it's the backbone of the global economy. Most countries don't just rely on their own money, they depend on the dollar. Oil is traded in dollars, global trade runs on dollars, and central banks around the world store dollars as reserves. In fact, a huge percentage of global transactions involve the US dollar. So when the dollar moves, the whole world reacts. But if the dollar collapses, the world doesn't just react, it shakes. Now the important question is, how could something like this even happen? A currency like the US dollar doesn't just disappear overnight, but it can weaken over time. One major reason is excessive money printing. When more and more money is created, each individual dollar becomes less valuable. It's simple economics. More supply with the same demand means lower value. Then there's the issue of massive debt. The US is sitting on trillions of dollars in debt, and at some point, people start wondering if it can ever realistically be paid back. But the most dangerous factor of all is trust. Money isn't just paper or numbers on a screen. It works because people believe in it. And once that belief starts to break, everything else follows. If the dollar starts collapsing, the first thing people will notice is prices going up fast. Food becomes expensive, fuel becomes expensive, rent becomes harder to afford. This is inflation, and in extreme situations, it turns into hyperinflation. Your income might stay the same, but your lifestyle becomes more and more difficult to maintain. Then comes panic. People rush to withdraw their money. Businesses start raising prices even faster, and suddenly it's not just about things being expensive, it's about uncertainty. As the situation gets worse, the financial system itself starts to crack. Banks face pressure, savings lose value, and investors begin pulling their money out. Stock markets drop, companies struggle to survive, and layoffs begin. Jobs disappear, businesses shut down, and the economy slowly starts collapsing from within. But here's the part most people don't think about. This doesn't stay limited to the United States. The entire world is connected to the dollar. If it collapses, other currencies can weaken, global trade slows down, and countries that depend heavily on imports start facing serious problems. What begins as a financial issue quickly turns into a global crisis. Now, what does this mean? The US dollar is about to collapse tomorrow? Not necessarily. In fact, a complete collapse in the near future is unlikely because the US still has one of the strongest economies in the world. But the risks are real, and history has shown us that no system is completely unbreakable. So maybe the real question isn't whether the dollar will collapse, but what happens if it ever does.